21st, 2024. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast that's going to talk technology. This week, I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two guys who've busted out the flip-flops and the sunscreen on this balmy 80-degree New England day. Dan Miller and Colby Rabidou. I'm laughing, Dan, because I also looked up the weather where you live. So, no offense. Joke's on you.
Yeah, this is the other side of the summer. In the summer when it's 95 degrees and humid on the East Coast, it's 72 degrees and not humid here. But we don't get any of these surprise like August. 2 weeks ago it was like 70 70 high. That was pretty good. But no, we don't get any of these crazy blips. It's just going to be 50 high of 55 and rainy for the next 6 months.
78.6 in the office right now.
Wow.
I took out the air conditioners yesterday, like 2 days ago, and I kind of regret it.
I had to put some of the screens back in the windows because it was beautiful.
You're a screen taker outer.
Yeah, I've been told that, you know, as part of a grand wisdom that they get battered with snow over the winter, and it's better just take them off. I have new windows; they pop out really easily. I did the whole house in like 5 minutes. So,
see, I have new windows, but I can't figure out how to get the screens out. That was one thing I could do with the old windows, was get the screens out, no problem. So
it's an ancient mystery to which you cannot. You know, the lesson I learned. So my house has. This is not a brag, okay. I think I have like 14 windows in my house. I have so many windows, and I learned to number them and then write the number like on the window where you can't see it, and then on the screen where you can't see it.
New York City subway, where each step has its own serial number on it. Yeah,
it's very identifiable because every window is also a different size, which is quite irritating.
Right. They look like they're similar, but
I did that, and I feel like an idiot. I did that last night because I have two windows in my bedroom. I only want the screen in one, and so I grabbed the one I thought it was, and I'm like, oh, this will definitely fit. And then I like put it up to the window, and it's like 3 sizes too big, and I'm like, I am very bad at this.
Yeah, I feel like I learned that when I was ordering blinds. Where it's like I measured, and it's like, this is probably the same, right? And then I thought better of it, and I measured the second window, and it was not the same. It's right next. They're right next to each other. They're not the same. Oh, close. It's not quite.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. I apologize. I'm the worst co-host in the world. We haven't been able to work on Facebook for a couple streams, and I've been trying to figure out why we haven't been able to go live, and it just says unable to connect to Facebook. So. Apologies to my parents, our Facebook viewers. So what's going on, gentlemen? There's a specific topic I want to talk about here in the first half of the show. But before I get to that, what's going on with you guys? Anything worth discussing here?
I think last episode or at some point we talked about how to use my desk budget at the new job. And I was informed that you cannot use it on coffee gear. So now I'm back to having no idea what to use it on. So I have.
Well, before you, can I just ask a quick question? Because before the show, you said there were 3 things on the list that you couldn't. Do you know what the other 2 are?
Yeah. So one of them is computers / iPads.
Sure, because you already have those.
Which makes sense. And I don't remember what the third one is, but there are way fewer things you are not allowed, explicitly not allowed to spend it on. Oh, remodeling. That's what it was. Like, you can't use
like hiring a contractor.
Well, it is something I considered because like the light in this room sucks. And so I need this supplementary lamp. And so I was like, well, with $1,000, I could probably replace the light with a more powerful light above, but that is explicitly not allowed. So yes, those are the 3 things I think.
All right. So what have you? Because I've got thoughts generating in my. What have you come up with?
So I've actually noticed that on Riverside, or maybe it's at night, either on Riverside or at night, my camera looks way better than it does either during the day or on Zoom. I haven't debugged it yet. and I was reading, and Sean, you might know things about this, about like the correct way to light things. And you want to have 2 lights, or you really want to have 3, but 2 is like good. And I found this company, and now I've lost it, where they make like a little Y-shaped thing that attaches to your desk and has lights that shine on you at the correct angle. So that was one idea. And then I had forgotten that like people use their old cameras as better video cameras, something HDMI, something. I haven't looked into this at all, but I have 3 old cameras, presumably one of which is better than this camera. But that doesn't cost anything at all. I might just have to buy a cable. So I think that's it. Like another thing that people had posted was like, "Oh, you can get the drawing tablets." It's like, I guess I could do that. I have no use for a drawing tablet.
Yeah.
That's as much as I've come up with.
Well, I the 2 specific ones you mentioned, I can actually tell you, I recently upgraded my lighting here in the studio.
Okay.
Previously, I had just like 3 light bulbs in cans that were kind of randomly pointed, and I said I need to become an adult. And a streamer I watched uses this and looks pretty good. And actually, I think it's working pretty well. This is the Logitech G Litra Beam. I put the link in the Slack. And it's just a single light bar, powered over USB. And you can even plug it into your computer, and it's got software so you can fuss around with it. It does the different tones of lighting, different brightnesses. But it works really, really great.
I saw someone have this, but it was pointed backwards towards the wall, and I don't have a wall behind the thing. But
mine's pointed right at me.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I haven't, not that you would necessarily use it in the daytime, but I've only used it for shows kind of when it's dark outside and it's just I only have the one light in the room.
Well, one problem is I'm backlit during the day, and so it would help to have a light pointed at me even during the day, I think.
And you can program with the desktop app, like have different profiles. So you can have it like a little softer during the day when you don't need it, but just a little bit. And then it does the tones where you can do those sharper tones versus the sort of browner tones of light.
Okay.
And then they also make a more expensive one that does colors if you really want to get crazy. Those are the ones I think you kind of point away from you at the wall and they kind of color up really nice.
I think I need colors.
But I would recommend. It's been great. The other thing, plugging in your camera, I recommend one of these bad boys. Camlink by Elgato. It's USB on one side, HDMI on the other. This is when I eventually will play Xbox with Matt. That's how I'm going to plug it in and get it into the stream. Is you can plug any HDMI device, and it shows up as a webcam. No extra peripherals. It's just this little dongle, and it works awesome. It does up to 4K.
Sweet.
It's worked really. Like I said, I did a test stream on Twitch where I had the Xbox hooked up, and it worked great. No issue. No extra software. No issues. It kind of just runs itself.
That's cool.
So would recommend.
Thanks.
Dan, do you have a stand-up desk? You do, right?
I do have a stand-up desk that we got when Lena's old law firm had a fire sale because they were moving out of their floor. And apparently what those companies do is they just sell everything, and then or they were remodeling one of the floors. So they sold everything and then just repurchased everything on the other side.
I can see it.
So yep, got a standing desk, got a fancy keyboard. I have the Apple Studio display, and so like that's like the best monitor. I could upgrade to the Pro Display XDR, but that's like what, $6,000? I only have $1,000 budget,
Yeah.
so it's not. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
You don't want one of the
second Apple Studio display. I did consider that.
True.
That seems crazy though.
Do you got like a monitor arm?
I don't have one of those.
I have one of those.
I did splurge when I got the Apple Studio display for the adjustable stand. So
nice. I like the monitor arm because it saves a lot of desk space.
Mm-hmm.
But I have if I recall correctly, I think I have more limited desk space than you do.
It's the apartment problems.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, I think you have a nice office chair, right, Dan?
I do.
Have you ever
Another thing I
seen?
considered was speaking of the standing desk. 2 years ago, I accidentally crushed this office chair underneath the standing desk, or the arm specifically, and then so now one of the arms is lower than the other one. Oh right. So I was considering just replacing it wholesale because that would fit in the $1,000. But then I saw that they have replacement parts, so I was considering ordering. Or thank you for reminding me about that. I was considering undergoing some desk chair surgery.
That's a good idea.
I was thinking you should replace your chair with one of these. Have you seen these?
Yes.
The
You also
yoga
told
ball
me about
chair.
the treadmill thing, right?
Oh, the treadmill as well. Yes,
Yeah.
you could do that. No, I had a boss who had one of these yoga ball chairs, and they appeared to be the most awkward thing on planet Earth to sit in. And you look very bad sitting in them.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is, apparently these are. Do you have a footrest?
I don't have a footrest.
Apparently, I was at the wire cutter. It wasn't this one specifically, but they've recommended getting one to get your feet up off the floor. And what it does is because it's your kind of under thigh that has all the pressure from sitting on the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get your feet up, it relieves that pressure and helps with blood flow. And they make very expensive ones.
Oh, good.
What do they do? Do they have like foot massager ones? Like,
Ooh. Oh.
They do have little treadmill ones. Boy, what would I search for? Sitting.
I feel
foot
like I've seen like pedal
treadmill.
ones that are like,
Yeah, like one of
that.
these bad boys.
Yeah, that's what.
And it's like you're
Under-desk
working out.
elliptical.
You're working out while you're sitting, Dan. You'll get fit in no time.
Wow, and you can spin it in either direction. That's incredible. Can you use it to charge your phone?
It's got USB A and C.
Go green.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Charge your whole workstation.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I like this. We're getting to some wacky ideas.
Let's see. What else? I have to stop sharing the screen because I'm afraid it'll show my Amazon search history.
Find what new embarrassing IoT gadget you've purchased.
No, it's mostly just buy it again. Fridge water filters, breath mints, AA and AAA batteries, and all sorts of other boring things. That's really, I don't buy anything cool.
Laura and I learned yesterday that you can purchase Spindrifts on Amazon for relatively reasonable prices, and you can do the subscribe and save thing with them.
Really?
That might be a thing.
Are you talking the canister, or are you buying entirely new Spindrift machines every time?
I think you're thinking of the bubbly thing.
Oh,
Spindrifts
SodaStream is what
those-
I'm thinking of. Right.
Spindrifts are those lightly fruited seltzers, which we've been purchasing at the store, but are now considering subscribing to.
That would scare the crap out of me. I only once ordered carbonated beverages on Amazon. I got soda once. Every single one of them, when you opened it, exploded. even they sat for 2 months. You would still open them and they exploded. The shipping terrifies me. Then again, this was so long ago, they were UPS shipped. So I'm hoping direct from the warehouse Amazon will do better. So actually, Colby, please do report back. Because I'm curious if they survive the transit.
I will let you know. I had a similar thought. Like, I don't know how this is gonna go. So we decided to just order like one box of them and see how it turns out.
Dan, I found the one other thing I think would be perfect for your office. It's a little over budget.
Okay.
But you pitch a little of your money. I think it'll be worth it. This is the zero gravity computer gaming chair reclining workspace. And what's great is you can put Well, this guy's got 5 monitors, which is awesome. But then the whole thing, it leans back. It's got overhead lighting. It's only $2,000, so you can cover half of it with your stipend, and then
I mean,
it's got a
might
remote
be able
control.
to make up for it by selling my office chair.
That's true, and just in productivity alone, your company might be willing to put up the other half because of how productive you're going to be. I mean, this is money in the bank for them. Oh my god, you can just buy like a tattoo chair on Amazon. You should get one of these for your office chair. This is cool. 3-motor electrical. It goes totally flat into a bed.
Can you get like a dentist's office chair?
Let's find out.
Wait,
this
with
is
with the light thing, and then that's where your monitor could be. So you could just
Right.
pull the monitor down.
You get the light thing and then the like implements tray that like swings over with
That's where
all
your
the.
keyboard
well. Here you go.
is.
You can just get a full-on hospital bed for
Hmm.
$2,500 on Amazon. Do you think
Yeah.
you'd be more productive from a hospital bed?
Actually, do
Depends
think
what
I
put
would.
me in there, I guess.
Fair enough. Oh boy, my product recommendations are going to be screwed forever now. Thank you. I'm gonna have to figure out how to delete these out of my history. This is great. Now they're just going to think I want hospital stuff. You can get one of these positioning.
Okay, I was just about to bring
bed
this up
pads.
actually. When Lena was at the hospital and they had these hospital beds, they would sometimes transfer her from the like more fixed bed to the thing that would bring you to another room. And they would slide underneath you this sheet, and then they would use a machine to inflate the sheet, and then the fabric was such that it was slide around really easily, and then like 2 people could just go whoop and just slide you over to the other thing, and they deflate it, yank it out like the tablecloth trick, and you're off you go. And when I've been moving heavy things around recently, I've been thinking about could there be other applications of this technology? Could you like moving things up and down stairs? I've often fantasized about like I just wish I could strap in all of these boxes to a giant inflatable thing so they don't fall over, and then I can just like lower it down the stairs and it will just like float down. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Or if all stairs were escalators.
That too.
Certainly on the downwards, it's pretty doable. It's achievable.
Well, keep dreaming. Dan, I hope that was a helpful discussion for you.
Yes. Yeah, my takeaways were the light bar you mentioned. I should look into the spare parts for my chair and try to fix the arm. And hey, the money doesn't expire. So the other thing I'm thinking is like someday
Just
Apple
wait till
will
something
update
breaks.
the AirPods Max or something will break.
Oh yeah.
And then that is an overpriced thing that would fit well within this budget. So
That's smart.
Good.
yes, thank you.
Well, please keep us involved in the ongoing saga of your office spend. I wanted to get to tonight. You know, they say it's 2 great tastes that taste great together. Colby Rabideau in the city of Las Vegas, and I want to hear what the original party animal did in the city of Sin. I'm hoping there's some good tales that to come out of that, Colby. Don't let me hype you up too much.
Oh man. Well, mostly we were in, work conference trip at Resorts World Las Vegas, which was great.
Now,
Yeah.
was this a team offsite, or were you attending a conference with other people?
It was a team offsite / attending a conference with other people.
Okay.
So, this is a thing that our company is prone to do for this particular conference. I don't know if this is a thing that'll last forever, but it's something we've always done. Back when we didn't really have enough money to go on offsites, it was like a thing that we did one time because it was like, oh, we're going to a conference, but also it'll be an offsite. And now I don't know if we have enough money to be going on offsites now. So maybe the same thing is happening. I don't know. So that's it was fun. We did a bunch of things. Like we went to some Vegas events. Like we went to Cirque du Soleil, which is very cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, quite cool. We went to the Sphere, but we just went to the Sphere for like the weird, the like 45-minute bad sci-fi wrapper around a nature video kind of thing.
Did that bum you out?
How bad the sci-fi was? Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
bummed me out. It was pretty silly. But the video is cool. The Sphere is way too loud. Like it is uncomfortably loud. If I were going again, I would bring earplugs. Like hands down. Like I several points during the show I simply covered my ears because it was like fire truck like right next to you, like hurt like hurts your ears.
Wow.
Loud, which was silly. But the screen was cool. What else happened? Oh, when checking in, as I was checking in, the person at the counter was like, "Hey, we have a room with a better view, but it has 2 queen beds. Is that okay?" I was like, "Okay." So I was on like the 50th floor or something. That was fun.
Wow.
Yep.
Sick.
And it was facing away from all the stuff in Las Vegas, but it turned out that like when the sun came up in the morning, it was very beautiful.
Yeah, Desert's very nice. No, Resorts World is a awesome resort.
Yeah. I was in Las Vegas, so one morning I had nothing to do, and so I was like killing time. So I sat down at a slot machine. I put in $20. Immediately won $60, and I mashed the cash up.
They're gonna hate you there, man. You're then supposed to lose all that 60 and more. You didn't do it right.
I took it up to my room and I like put it in the side pocket of my suitcase, and to be honest, I forgot about it until just now. It's still in my suitcase.
Well, it'll stay there till your next trip to Vegas, right?
Yep, I think so. I think what else? That was the most Vegas or non-Vegas thing that I did.
Is there a cocktail report?
Yeah, I did have some cocktails. I to be honest, like a lot of the food was like not that good. Definitely not like good enough for how expensive it was. It had the like Newbury Street in Boston is like this, where like all of the restaurants on Newbury Street are like quite expensive, and like 4 of them are like, the quality of the food is like good relative to how expensive it is. But we did go in Resorts World. There's like a speakeasy that is like,
oh, you got to go there.
Yeah, there's like there's a food court on one side of the thing, and like randomly there's like a bookcase in the food court, and you like, it's a speakeasy. And it was actually quite good. The speakeasy cocktails were good. I had a cocktail called the Waffle House, which was like bourbon and maple syrup and like chili bitters or something. It was kind of spicy. It was really good.
Cool.
Yeah. I my take on Las Vegas was I liked it better than I thought I was gonna like it. Like I had a fine time. The shows were cool.
You won some money.
Yeah, it was a fine place to be at a conference. Like the conference was in the hotel, which was really quite convenient. Because like you could go and like do the conference for a little while, and if you got tired, just like go back to your room and lay down, and then you like go back, recharge, which was quite nice. Previous versions of this work trip, we've like stayed far away from the conference, and so you had to like go, and once you were there, you were far away. So it was great. But I would go back. I would do a Don't Panic trip to Las Vegas. I think it'd be great.
CES?
Yeah.
Boys go to CES? Absolutely.
Yeah. My sister is a real journalist, and I'm pretty sure could actually go to CES.
Yeah, she does a lot of gadget reviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Look,
makes
I think she
love it.
gets invited. She could go. She's just never chosen to go.
Does she have +3s?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think it's. I think if you just pay them, I don't think it's that hard to get in.
Could we
Um,
be her like her tech crew? Or like we got the
Right.
was it the
There-
best
there you go.
boy and the main key or whatever it is.
I'll be
and
the key grip.
The key grip, yeah.
Yeah, that would be. I'm so thrilled because I'm going in January again or February as I do every year, and so many beautiful resorts, right? Resorts World. There's the Wynn and the Bellagio in Paris, and I'm staying at the Westin Ostrip. Actually, it's very nice. I actually prefer staying there. It's much quieter. And they don't have a casino, which is nice. So you don't have to walk through a casino every day, going to and from stuff. But
That's
no, congratulations. That's awesome. I was very curious because you were texting me before you went for recommendations. I was like, oh boy, I hope it works out for him. Well, that's great.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I'm glad to be home. It was there. I mean, I was there for too long. We were there for like 5 days or something. It was exhausting.
Yeah, I usually go for 7 to 8 and work the convention all day. And it's the longest, most exhausting week of my life. And I love it. And it's great. I joke because I'm going to Dallas in a couple weeks to work a show. And I'm like, the only reason I like going to Vegas because the show sucks. But we tend to pick decent restaurants. The food is good and it's free. And I tend to win a little bit gambling. When I go to fucking Dallas, it's like, what the hell am I? So I'm going to work all day and then we're going to go to the fucking In-N-Out or the Whataburger for dinner. Like, I don't even know. Are there even good restaurants in Dallas? We'll find out. I'll do my Dallas report out. But I'm like, can we go to like a good city? Dang it.
That's interesting. Well, there are definitely good restaurants in Houston.
Yes, Houston has culture. Dallas is concrete and gray and sad.
Haven't been.
I haven't either. I just assume these things. But I'm like, there's so many great convention cities in Dallas. I'm not. But we're gonna make the best of it. If you guys want to come, I can probably get you passes to Deck Expo. Deck
Do we get to see you use the tool again and go chunka chunka chunka?
Oh, I will be demoing everything. I'll be hyping up the crowd. I'll be calling people in. Sir, please come here. Let me show you our great screws. It'll be a lot of fun. All the influencers will be there. It'll be a hoot.
Ask me about my screws.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Well, people always do the pun. Well, ask me how to get screwed. It's like, okay, well, we're a real business. We can't be debasing ourselves like that.
Your tagline isn't the only people in this industry who don't have a screw loose.
We won't screw you over. Yeah, exactly. We've heard it all. Usually by very annoying people.
Well, here's a fun fact. I have a fun screw fact.
Great.
Maybe you can verify if this is true, Sean. I was reading a really interesting book over the weekend called How to Hide an Empire, and it's about the U.S. Like, is it an imperialist country? Is it not? It's sort of an interesting question, and it goes from the beginning. I don't know till when, but about halfway through their own World War II, and the book was talking about how the standardization in the U.S. was not always a given, and in any country, and there's this like watershed moment, no pun intended, where there's this huge fire in either Baltimore or New York, I forget which, and then firefighters from Baltimore or New York tried to go to the other place. In fact, they were sent, but they couldn't plug their fire trucks into the hydrants because the threads were different, and so they just watched as everything burned. They could do absolutely nothing, and so then there's this big initiative to standardize screw and threading, which succeeded. And then World War II happened, and the U.S. showed up in all these countries: Britain, France, Malaysia, Australia, and they all had different screw sizes and different everything, different shoe sizes, different street signs, and there were so many American soldiers in all these countries that it wasn't a thing that they thought to do in advance. It turned out that all of the factories switched from making British shoe sizes to American shoe sizes, and from whatever the local standard threading distance was to whatever the Americans needed. And that's how industry standardized in the 20th century. It was mostly an accident.
Nice.
Which is kind of crazy. Yeah. So anyways, I learned about some stuff about screws this weekend.
There you go. Sounds like a very interesting read. Yeah, I would say that's one thing I've learned is you'd be shocked at how many sort of every little thing in your life has an international standardization organization. We'll talk about FIDO probably a little bit later, but we use the International Code Council, ICC. They determine building codes, not just for the US, but around the world. It's one of those funny things. Yes.
I remember another thing. I mentioned the street signs. It turns out if you're going to essentially occupy a country, you don't want to spend a bunch of time building out street signs, but you do need to build roads. And if you're going to build roads, there's really only one sign you need, the stop sign. And the US used the US stop sign in all the countries. And almost every country, including Russia and North Korea, has the exact same stop sign as the US for this reason. All comes back to building roads to and from airports in World War II across the world.
Wow. Awesome.
It's interesting. It's like
it is
like, oh, this explains an aspect of the world I never thought to question before.
Well, it's one of those things too where I still think it's kind of crazy that we have so many different electrical socket standards around the world. That seems like one that would have gotten standardized at some point, but it remains pretty unchanged.
Yeah, it was probably just a couple years too early for the big World War II homogenization.
This is why we need more World Wars, guys. Yeah. That's the don't panic opinion.
Anyways.
No, that's going very interesting. Guys, I do want to get onto our main topic this evening, but before I do that, you have the option of hearing my mortifying, embarrassing story at the supermarket this weekend. But we can move on.
We can't say no.
Oh, see, I set you up for it. Yeah. I'm not easily flustered or embarrassed, to be honest with you. I'm really not. I'm pretty chill because it's like, whatever, I'm at the supermarket. I was buying groceries, and among them, pickles. And I like Nathan's pickles, the hot dog people. They make great pickles. I would recommend them. But they sell them in plastic tubs, kind of like you would get deli salad in or something with a set lid. And in that tub, it's only like 35% pickles and like 65% pickle juice. Well, of course, I'm at the self-checkout, and I pick up the tub, and I fumble, and I drop the tub, and the tub cracks. And I pick it up, and it's just leaking pickle juice. And it just keeps going and going and going, and there's no way to stop it, and it stinks. It stinks so bad. And it's going, and it's gushing all over the floor. It's starting to run, like, towards the other self-checkouts. And the self-checkout, attendant guy was standing there, and I'm like, there's a pickle spill, and he comes over and he goes, ugh. He makes the face. Like, oh, and he's like, he was nice about it, but he's putting down the paper towels, and I'm like horrified at this point. I've got pickle juice everywhere. And so he's like using just like a roll of paper towels to clean up an amount of liquid that you need like an industrial like mopping setup to accomplish. And so while I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, I'm like subtly still scanning because it was like the first item I picked up. I still had a cart full of groceries. So I'm like standing back as far as I can away from the spill, and I'm just like scanning one item at like subtly. I'm like, I'm really, again, dude, that sucks. I'm really sorry. And he's got to like go on the intercom. We have a spill at the self-checkout. Please bring it. And everyone's like staring at me, and everyone can smell it. And I'm like scanning. And finally I get to the last item, and I like slide in the card, and I pay, and okay. And then he looks at me, and he can like see how like visibly upset I am. And he's like, you don't have to like stay while we clean this up. And I'm like, I know. I just like feel really bad. And he's like, oh man, it's okay. And then as I'm leaving, another customer's coming up behind me, and I'm like, don't use this register. It's covered in pickles. Don't use this. Well, of course, I used to work in a supermarket. I cleaned up every kind of spill you can imagine. But it was just the fact that there was so much pickle juice in this plastic tub. And I pick it up. It wasn't even that big of a crack, but there was no way to stop it. And it just kept going and going and going. And it was horrifying. And I didn't get any pickles. So
that's sad.
a tragic.
You didn't
left
go
without
back for a
pickles?
second one.
No, I checked out as fast as I could. I left the cracked one there, and I was just like, peace out. I can live without pickles. Of course, now all I want is a pickle. But I've never had such a horrific spill in my life.
Remind me, Sean, are you a pickles on sandwich person?
Yes, but I don't usually. So if I go to like a deli or somewhere that a sandwich place, yes, pickles all day long. At home, I buy the spears and I buy relish, but I don't really make sandwiches at home, so I don't have the chips. On the sandwich, I like the chip style. On hot dogs, I like the relish style, and then obviously the spear as a side.
Yeah.
But I do like pickles a lot.
Now, at our supermarket, I don't think we have Nathan's brand pickles. I am curious to try them, but there is a different brand of pickles which is quite good, but also comes in those plastic tubs.
Yeah.
And I don't know who thought.
Nathan's used to be glass. They used to be glass.
Right. Right. Even if nothing goes wrong, they leak. Like actively, they're actively leaking pickle juice as you bring them home, and for this reason Laura refuses to purchase those pickles, and it makes me sad because they're good pickles. They just have a stupid container,
and the volume is so different where it's like there's not that much pickles in them,
right?
Like you could literally half the size of it and you would have the same amount of pickles. It's crazy.
Is it like just because they had a bunch of those containers on hand?
I think so.
Like, oh, well, yeah, I guess we could put pickles in those for a few years. It'll be.
It sounds silly. We did that at my company. We switched one package to another package we already had. We saved like $750,000 a year by doing that. You would be. They probably found a deal on a bunch left in a warehouse somewhere. Said, "Fuck it, put the pickles in them. Who cares?" Yeah. So maybe I'll boycott. I'm gonna go back to Clausen. I don't need this Nathan's nonsense in my life.
Right. You should start a social media campaign.
Shame on Nathan's. But I'll still eat your hot dogs. All right. Guys, we have a topic this evening, which is great. It's about time we talk some technology. Colby, this was your suggestion. Why did you want us to talk about passkeys?
I just don't know. I remember they talked about them at the Apple event, and then like nothing happened, and I didn't think about it. And now I keep signing into websites, and they're like, "Do you want to set up a passkey?" I was like, maybe. I just don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen if I say yes, and I'm scared.
They're really freaking you out. It's going to be okay, Colby.
Yeah. So, real quick, why passkeys? I think that like for the websites and for you, there's the benefit of they can't be phished because they can't be serialized to something that you can paste to someone or say over the phone. So that is the why, and I think people sometimes lose sight of that. For the user, I think there's a secondary benefit, which is it's way faster to log in. And then I think that one problem that passkeys has is it's like one of those standards that is not a product, and so it's unclear how you actually use it. And so I'm not like an expert, but I think there are a couple different ways you can use it. So my understanding is that your operating system could vend passkeys. So it could store them and vend them to things. I don't know if anything actually does this. Practically, it's the web browsers that store and vend the passkeys. I guess on Mac it does store and vend the passkeys, but I bet on Windows it doesn't. I think it's down to the browser. And so, for example, Chrome, my understanding is Chrome, if you say store a passkey and you're using Chrome, it will store it in Chrome. It will not store it in the Mac OS thing. But the advantage is that it will work on other operating systems. However, so that's one aspect of it. Now you might ask, how then, if I store a passkey for like Google on my work laptop's Chrome, how do I get that passkey to sign in? And the answer is you don't. That's the first answer. And so on every website that I'm aware of, by adding a passkey, you don't replace any existing sign-in mechanism. You merely have the passkey as another option. That might change in the future. Then there's another level. Like, I'm sure there's something you can do in Chrome to like have a profile and sync them. I haven't done that. Password managers also support passkeys, and you can store passkeys in the password manager, and then their little extension thing will somehow offer to provide a passkey when asked for it. And then that is super duper fast. So the 1Password passkey support is really good, and the experience, at least on desktop, I don't know if I've tried this on mobile, is you go to like Google or GitHub, and Google either knows because they know you have a passkey or something about your computer indicates that you have one. It's like, hey, it's time to auth. And then 1Password's like, press your thumb on the thing or finger on the thingy, and then boop, and then you're off to the races. And there's a button at the bottom. It's like, sign in another way. You could use the SMS thing, or you could use the 6-digit code, or you could use the password.
I see.
So
And
one of my big takeaways is just have shit tons of passkeys. So starting at
you
my
can
new
have
job-
multiple.
Yeah, I didn't really realize this until last week, but starting at my new job, we use Okta. And to sign into Okta, they actually ask you straight up at my new job to use a passkey. And so I have a passkey in my work Chrome profile. I have a passkey in Safari. I have a passkey in 1Password, and they are all separate items in my Okta account, but they all identify me. So each time I use a new thing to log into Okta, it's like, do you want to set up a passkey? I'm like, yes, like, sure, whatever. Store it, whatever operating system, browser combination I'm on, just store it. And then I don't have to do this ever again. And I don't care if I lose it. It's kind of ephemeral from my perspective. If I get a new computer, I just have 4 new passkeys. Who cares?
I see. See, I think that's the part that I didn't understand is like it's like connected to the thing that you signed in on.
Yeah. Basically, the technology behind it is like all good things based on crypto. And basically
The real crypto, the original crypto.
Yes. Where a public key is generated, and then a device-specific one is created, and they just check to see if it matches, and it's pretty much that simple. It comes from the FIDO Alliance, which is a security alliance between Microsoft, Apple, Google, and a number of other companies. And what that means is all of your various devices and password managers generally support it. Chrome does as a browser. iOS does, especially with the new password app. For example, my Google, I have a key for 1Password. I also have a key for iOS. I can sign in either way. And you can generate as many as you like. I found a great website called passkeys.directory, which is, it's owned by 1Password, but basically it lists every site they can think of that supports passkeys, and all the major ones are out there, from Snapchat and PayPal and Microsoft, obviously. Home Depot supports it. I logged in today into Home Depot using a passkey, which I thought was pretty darn cool. The other thing I'll say is the experience, because one thing that may worry people is, do I have to be signed in to the device I'm trying to log in with? For example, on my work computer, my 1Password is not installed because it's my personal 1Password. How does a passkey work? It uses a QR code with your device. So if you're in Chrome and you try to log into your Google account, it will say you can sign in with that secondary device, but it uses a QR code. iOS scans the QR code, verifies with your face or thumbprint, and it logs you in that way. It's a little more cumbersome. For example, when I logged into the Home Depot app on my phone, that's probably the simplest way to do it because iOS has the key and the Home Depot app has the key. It took 0 seconds. It was totally seamless. The most complicated way is you got to scan the QR code to log in, but that's pretty quick too.
Now, one annoying thing is that not every website allows you to have multiple keys, which I think is pretty stupid. And it really defeats the point because then you pretty much have to use 1Password or something similar. And I'm also unclear on like, so I went to the Passkeys directory website and it was talking about like, oh, you can use it to sign in or and do MFA. It looks like those are additive. And that part is confusing too, because sometimes you can't fully log in. I'm guessing, I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes I can't fully log in with just the passkey. Like, GitHub, I think, is the big one where they want you to also do two-factor a different way. And so that is the thing I don't entirely understand. But Google, for instance, you can if you have a passkey, you're just in. You know SMS BS, no like, oh, gotta like look up the thing and type in the 6-digit thing or copy or respond to some push notification. It just goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I have my Amazon one turned on. It just never asks me for it. Like, I generated the key, it exists. It just always asks me for my password, and I can't figure out how to get it to do that. So it's a little funky. Colby, were you able to sign up for a passkey?
I think I did it with GitHub just now. So I did this with GitHub, and like 1Password popped up and was like, "Do you want to save this in 1Password?" Now, will that propagate to my other 1Passwords?
Yes.
Yes.
So that one, in that case, like that passkey is gonna like slurp around with me.
And then there's also another strange thing that I didn't fully understand, but it also uses Bluetooth in a way where theoretically, if you are on your Mac and the physical, you got a physical key. Look at you. You're so cool. But it will use your phone. If you are on if you're on a device that can't authenticate you, but it's connected via Bluetooth to another device, I didn't quite figure that out. There's a whole thing where your phone will check via Bluetooth to another device to get the auth. I'm not sure. Dan, I do want to talk about your physical key, though.
Yeah, so this is my first time having one of these. And it's USB-C and Lightning, which is unfortunate because I only need one of these. And I don't think this is the same as a passkey. I think it's more like the 6-digit code multi-factor thing where I sometimes, but it's unclear to me because like when I log into Okta with this, actually I think it is a passkey because it throws up the passkey thing. I've been having to do this because I cannot log into any of the work stuff with my phone. And it turns out, according to the IT person, it's amazing to have an IT person, by the way. It's so nice. That this is an iPhone 16, iOS 18, whatever, is it 18 that we're on?
Yeah.
18.0.1 specific issue. If you have an iPhone 15, you're not on 18.0.1. You don't have this problem, whatever my problem is. I don't even know what it is. So anyways, I've been doing a lot of signing out of Okta and signing back in to try to fix this. And it throws up the passkey prompt, but I've signed out of Okta and I haven't put it in 1Password, or this is like intrinsic to my account maybe or something. But it looks exactly like a passkey thing. I plug it in and I select like physical hardware and then I squeeze the sides and it prints out 32 characters. It shows up as a keyboard, which is annoying. So when you have this plugged in, the keyboard never shows up when you try to type anything in. So you want to type in your email address, you got to pull it out, and then you got to put your password and you push it back in.
So simple.
It's it's a bit annoying. It advertises to me the Bluetooth support, which I imagine is more seamless in this way than a hardware keyboard.
Yeah, as far as I understand it, those are because essentially passkeys require two devices: the device you're using to log in and a secondary authentication device. 99% of the time, that's your cell phone. And what's great about it is if someone steals your phone, they need to have your face or your phone password or something. There's that extra layer of security. My belief is the passkey acts as that second device that it's matching against to make sure that it's authorizing and it's you. And so that way, if you don't want to have to use your phone or aren't allowed to, or there's a technical reason why you can't, you get the physical key, it's on you, you plug it in, and that's what tells the passkey, you're good to go. This is Dan. Let my man in. Just like that.
Cool.
So report back, Colby.
All right.
I love it. I think it's great.
It seems nice. I did it on GitHub and I signed out and logged back in and it worked. And then I did it on my phone. I signed out of the app and logged back in. And it worked. So
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That was the one I would have been nervous about. It does. 1Password only seems to pop up sometimes on apps specifically.
So when I was logging in, so the first thing to know is that signing into the GitHub app, it like popped the web view thing and was like, GitHub wants you to sign in with a web browser. I was like, okay, and so it worked that way. But it didn't work the first time I did it. I didn't do anything in the GitHub page. I tried to just go to 1Password and click use a passkey, and I got redirected to a weird page that said something about cookies being enabled to sign in, and it failed. It was like a plain text web page from GitHub that just said cookies must be enabled to sign in. And then I tried again, and on the GitHub sign in, there's a button that says sign in with passkey. And I pressed that button, and then that like triggered 1Password to open.
Nice.
And I pressed sign in with passkey, and it worked. So
cool,
sweet.
So Colby,
Yeah,
when is Don'tPanic.io going to support passkeys?
I think it barely supports passwords.
That's an interesting question. I don't know.
I don't even know how to sign in, so this is not.
Well,
a
by the way,
question.
I do have to share this because I do log in every time we publish this. But we're getting the oh, come on, share the screen here.
Is our next authentication mechanism going to be deprecated?
No.
We're already getting we got to update our CK editor.
Oh man, our CK editor.
It's fine. I work around it. I'm not worried about it being not secure. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? But I just want to let you know that's been there for like, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months.
Wow, that's annoying.
Something like that. But otherwise, the site's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, is this our longest running version of the Don't Panic IO website? I think it is.
Remember when we used to have to Facebook authenticate to sign in?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll rebuild it again before.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's lots of Ruby at my new job, Colby.
Ruby.
It's a throwback. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
This website still has the phone number on it. We haven't owned that phone number for like 3 years. I don't know what happens when you call it.
What if people are calling it?
Yeah, that could be a problem. One thing we should talk about at some point, I had almost figured out a passwordless future. And that was because I have more aggressively over the past year moved to sign in with Apple on a lot of things, which I hated doing with sign in with Facebook, sign in with Google. But sign in with Apple just felt better, and it works really well on my phone. So I don't use it for everything, but that has been a nice addition to the Apple canon.
Yeah, I use that wherever possible too. For apps, for things that I know I'm only going to use on my phone, that's the only thing I use.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Well, I think this was pretty informative. I would say we're generally pro passkey.
Yeah, I have less anxiety now.
That's literally don't panic. That's what we're here for. If anyone out there has tech topics they're concerned about and would like us to talk about on the show, we're happy to read Google for you. So please let us know. Guys, anything else from you this evening? As we go over the top of the hour, I will very quickly tease over on Up for Debate. We wrapped up Sean Timber with our great tea tasting episode. We brewed some fresh tea right here at my desk. Got to try a whole bunch of varieties. Spoiler alert, I liked most of them. So if you want to hear me slurping live on the air, check that out. And you guys want to know what our big next on-stream promotion is going to be? Our next big podcast event. And we didn't say it on the other shows. This is a Don't Panic exclusive.
Oh, hell yeah. What
Hell
is
yeah.
it?
Listen, we've covered a lot of films over the years. We've done action. We've done more action. We did Halloween movies. Guys, what's the greatest genre of cinema?
Biopics.
No.
No.
I would say close, but it's not particularly. No.
Rom-coms?
We're finally covering what the fans have been demanding. Stop motion Christmas classics. That's right. Rankin and Bass. You know them. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Year Without a Santa Claus, Frosty the Snowman, all of your favorite classic stop motion animated Christmas films starting around Thanksgiving and leading up to the holidays. We're going to be covering all the classics from the ones you know and love to the really weird ones everyone forgot. So get excited. But next week, we're going to be back playing more Chrono Trigger. So it'll be a lot of fun. Check that out over at UpForDebate.tv where you get your podcast. It's going to be a good way to wrap up the year. Of course, our show here is Don't Panic at Don'tPanic.io. We just talked about how great and somewhat secure our website is. So you should check it out. All the audio and video of the episodes are there. I'll put a link to some of the products we talked about on the show there. So you can check that out, including the $2,000 hospital bed Dan's going to buy for his office. Of course, you can subscribe wherever you get podcasts, video version on YouTube, and of course, you can get a hold of us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. We are going to wrap it up here, but it's been a pleasure being with you all. I'm Sean. They're Dan and Colby. We're going to see you next time for another great episode of Don't Panic. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Incredible.
Nice.
Good work, gentlemen. Looks like we made it.
Certainly did.
Hot diggity. Anything else on your guys' mind?
No.
Oh?
No.
Yeah. The second half of November is going to get pretty nuts.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Same.
Because I'm at a work off site 18th, and then Thanksgiving traveling the 25th, and then I'm here the first week of December, but then I'm out the second week of December for another work thing,